What's up, Goober? Tip number 1, count utility. What that means is that if I'm playing Inferno on T side and I come banana and then I hear 3 HE grenades, or they smoke deep, but they also throw 2 HE grenades at the same time, that's incredibly valuable information because now I know, oh, 3 people are banana. I should tell my team, hey, speed up A. There's only 2A, go take space A. And this applies to every single map. Your opponents are probably giving you a ton of information with early round utility. You just have to be paying attention to it. When you get blinded by a flashbang, it's not always good to immediately start shooting on the angle you're holding and assume that a CT is immediately going to swing it, right? Sometimes it's better to get blinded and just silently duck back into cover. Don't give them the information and then use that information that, hey, they just flashed, maybe somebody just swung, to then re-swing the person who just swung off of that flashbang. One mistake people make that actually kind of tilts me is when people right-click nades into smokes very lazily. The problem with this is that it gives the CTs a ton of heads up that, hey, I'm grenading the smoke, right? The smoke is about to not be here because I'm throwing an HE into it. So instead of doing that, make use of left and right click. If I'm close like this, I can left and right click and you just aim high above the smoke, and this is going to perfectly pop the top of the smoke for you to fight behind it. Otherwise, you can right click it, just aim high and shift walk, and then bang, that's going to land in the smoke, and just make one quiet little bounce right before it pops the smoke. Before I get into so many more tips like these, thank you to Skins Monkey for sponsoring this video. Skins Monkey is a trusted automated CS2 trading site. It's super easy to use. All you have to do is pick something in your inventory, check how much it's worth, and then go get something new from the monkey. What's also super nice is the filters you can use to narrow down your searches. You can either use your skins to trade for new ones or deposit money with their 30% bonus offer. This becomes 35% when you use my code Wilson. Please use it. Using my code, you can also get up to $5 for free. Use my code Wilson, link is in the description. One way you can have a ton of impact in your games is by making use of second timings. Now, what I mean by this is that at the beginning of the round, there's that initial fight, that initial timing, right? So for example, on Dust, CTs come long and they molly doors, and then they get flashes and bang, they swing, right? That's the initial timing. Most fights, when you take long as a T, that's the fight you're taking, that initial timing. The second timing is now after this molly goes. Once I know this molly is about to fade, I'm going to shift walk a flash and hit the second timing where bang, now I'm swinging on a timing that they don't expect, and I'm also avoiding all of their initial util. So it's not like a mid-round thing, it's just avoiding that initial barrage of util and popping out right after it. By pushing in that last second or two of that molly, you're going to catch a lot of CTs just with a smoke out in this area, ready to smoke that molly or smoke long doors. One mistake I constantly see people make is that they bounce on their counter strafes. What that means is that instead of doing this, right, just one clean motion, one movement, they do this, where it's a strafe, bounce, and then counter strafe. It's unnecessary movement. It doesn't need to be in there, and you're probably doing this without realizing it. So with your movement, you need to make sure that it's clean and purposeful. When you watch pros play, it's bang, bang, bang. It's so clean. Every movement has a purpose to it. Cut out these unnecessary bounces. There's no reason to be doing this. Instead, just have clean strafes. And then when you do want to jiggle, make that a purposeful thing. I'm jiggling this angle for a reason. Don't jiggle everything, bounce on your strafes for no reason. Whenever you're playing an angle like this or a position like this where you're stuck in a corner or you're hugging right against a wall, step away from the wall slightly or do strafing holds like this, where you're just going back and forth and you're just moving a little bit. You pretty much never want to be sitting in a corner right up on a wall unless you really think that they're not going to clear you. If you really think that they're not expecting you to be in a corner, then it's fine to sit in the corner. Otherwise, if you think that they're going to clear you, don't sit in the corner. The reason for that is because when people are clearing corners, either they full pre-aim it, right, and their crosshair placement's going to be good for that, or they sweep all of the off angles, right? These are all the off angles out here. They sweep past them and then finish with their crosshair on the on angle on the corner right there. So playing these off angles or just playing slightly off the angle is so much better, because if they do the sweeping motion, they're going to clear past you by the time they can actually react to you being there. No human has a reaction time fast enough to instantly stop on somebody as they're sweeping like that. The next tip is from a donk demo that I watch over on twitch.tv/WilsonCS2. I stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, and also outside of that, I would really appreciate you to go follow me. It's in the description. This is something I've talked about before of I want to be doing this more, and I think it's a really good thing for everybody to be doing more, and that's the single bullet just tester tap into a spray. And this mostly pertains to like somewhat unexpected fights or like kind of disadvantageous fights. Instead of immediately spraying, he goes bang, slight pause, right? And then he moves while readjusting his crosshair, and then he commits, right? So instead of like, I see him, I flick, spray, and crouch slide, see him, flick, tap, move, and then spray and crouch slide. That way you're not just committed into like your first like reaction flick, because lots of times your initial like just instant reaction flick isn't the most amazing accurate shot ever. You're gonna have more accuracy off of your reaction and then the micro adjustment, right? So like you shoot one bullet off of your reaction and then you micro adjust while moving and then you commit. Whenever you're low HP, unless your opponent is really not expecting you to be holding something, you want to be the peeker. The reason for that is because you want to dictate the timing of the fight. That way you get the first bullet off. So if there's a CT here and I'm standing here and I let the CT swing me, they're most likely going to get the first bullet off because they have the internal timing or knowledge that I'm swinging this angle, right? I don't know they're swinging that angle. They're swinging it. They dictate the timing. So instead of that, I want to dictate the timing and peek this player and maybe pre-fire if I know they're there. Otherwise, react to them, right? But swing and then fight. When you're low HP, don't get peeked, be the peeker. When you're playing a game of Face It or Premier Competitive and you really want to win, but one of your teammates doesn't seem like they want to, they're either no-comming or they're trolling a little bit or they're doing something stupid and it's so frustrating. Treat them as an NPC, not in the way that you're gonna call them a bot and be mean, but treat them like they're just a variable. They're just this entity that you have to try to figure out how to win the game with. You're not fighting against them. It's not you versus them. It's you against the other team, and you have this weird variable of this annoying teammate to deal with. I had a game recently where one dude was being toxic and annoying and not really doing anything with the team, and one of my teammates just fixated on that guy. He focused so much on that guy, and then that guy who fixated on the teammate finished the game with like 5 kills. It's easy to see these teammates and say, okay, we're gonna lose this game, but lots of times they're actually still trying in their own kind of annoying, mean way. So if you demote them to a variable, you don't fixate on them, you're gonna win a lot of these games that previously you would have lost. People think of crosshair placement as this purely mechanical bang, 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 clearing angles, 1, 2, 3, the step process. Some people even look at spots on the wall and line it up and then peek like that. Don't do that, please. There is a very important mechanical aspect to crosshair placement, right? Just that muscle memory of just putting your crosshair on a spot, through a wall, and then swinging it. But what's so much more important is actually pretending and imagining that your opponent is there. When I swing this, if I'm just no brain clearing this, just full muscle memory, I'm probably gonna lose the fight. If I swing it thinking, I know somebody's there holding me, I'm going to be so much more ready for the fight. My reaction time is going to be faster, and my crosshair placement is actually going to be better because I am picturing them there. I'm envisioning them there. I'm not going on full autopilot. So the way to fix this, to improve on this, is to just think about it, right? Don't let yourself go on autopilot in these games and actually imagine somebody's right here. Bang. Okay, nobody's there. Somebody's right here. Bang. Okay, nobody's there, right? After you clear those, then think next step, okay, if they're not there, where are they going to be, right? This is where game sense and crosshair placement collide into this beautiful mesh of knowledge and skill, and this is what you need to focus on to have really good crosshair placement. If someone isn't expecting you to be somewhere, hold your crosshair wider on the angle. This could be if you're lurking and you're in an unexpected position, or maybe you're just sitting on an off angle, right? And you're expecting a CT or a T to just overswing wherever you're sitting. Hold wider because they're unlikely to like counter strafe and peek perfectly where you are. Use deathmatch as a tool, not as a result. You shouldn't go into deathmatch thinking I want a KD of this, or getting upset when you die to people who shoot you in the back or anything. It should be purely a tool for you to work on your mechanics. And when you are working on your mechanics in deathmatch, pinpoint things that you want to focus on, right? I'm going to go for one taps and focus on my first bullet accuracy. I'm going to focus on my donk slides or crouch taps and think about how I'm moving within fights. I'm going to work on my crosshair placement. You can work on your crosshair placement in deathmatch. That's one thing something people don't think about much. Deathmatch is a great tool to improve, so use it as such. Whenever you duo queue or trio queue or even 4Q, it's easy to forget that you have teammates who need information too, so do remember to use in-game comms. But this also has the added effect and bonus of when you guys comm in-game, you create kind of the atmosphere of we're trying, we're talking, we're being competitive. When lots of times when you play with stacks, they don't talk at all and it feels like a dead game and it feels like you're just gonna lose. So make sure that you're a good stack that comms in-game for your teammates. Now, I know you've heard the advice to plan what you're going to do in the round before the round starts, right? In spawn, you think, okay, maybe I'm gonna go apps and I'm gonna lurk. I want you to add the aspect of what is my economy? What is my buy, right? What weapons do I have? And what weapons are my opponents going to have? Because you shouldn't be playing the exact same way in gun v gun rounds versus gun v eco rounds, right? And the more you think about this, the better you're gonna get at it. Because like, for example, that third round, if you're on T side and you win the first 2 rounds, that third round is the CT's first buy round, but it's not an excellent buy. They don't have a full kit and util belt unless they buy an MP9, which means that playing a little slower on that third round and letting the CTs use all their util and then executing a site late is very much in your advantage. A very honest tip about Premier: it sucks. Premier blows. It's a horrible system. Don't put a lot of faith and trust in your Premier rank and your points. It's unreliable. It's super streaky in the way that, right, you get more and more elo if you get on a win streak and you lose more and more if you get on a loss streak, which means that your Premier points elo is going to vary drastically. It's just not trustworthy. It's a bad system. Now, face it, the alternative to Premier isn't a perfect system either, right? It has its own flaws, but I do trust its elo significantly more than I do Premier. I think the face it elo is more representative of a player's skill level than Premier points are. With that being said, use elo as just a rough estimate of where you are skill-wise. Don't use it as a purely end goal. This is the most important thing in your life, because then it's going to dominate your mental and it's going to ruin your performance in games. Your focus should be, yes, on winning, but also on improving, learning from your mistakes, trying new things, and becoming a better player. That's how you get more elo. You don't get more elo by wanting more elo, right? It doesn't work like that. You have to improve. So focus on improving. I really often get the question of when should I play Face It? A lot of people like to gatekeep Face It in this really weird way of, oh dude, you need to be like 15k Premier points to play Face It. It's silly. It's ridiculous. It's totally arbitrary and it doesn't work like that. Just play it, man. Face It is significantly better than Premier at creating fair lobbies. And I also think people generally care more about the game in Face It lobbies than they do in Premier games. So I highly recommend, like, once you feel comfortable on all 7 maps and you have a microphone and you're willing to communicate and you know some basic util, you know the call outs, play Face It. Just do it. Stop gatekeeping yourself from playing Face It and don't let other people gatekeep you from playing Face It. Now, I have respect for you if you want to call in pugs, right? You want to make calls for your team, tell your team what to do, create some structure. Please be careful with this, because number one, you don't want to limit your teammates. Your teammates got to the rank that they're at by doing the things that feel comfortable for them, right? So you don't want to force somebody into doing this role that they don't want to do. And number two, they also often just want to play in their own way. So the secret to calling in pugs is loose structure, making it very simple and very easy. Whenever you have a call, like for example on T side, if you have something you want to do, then call it and make sure like you're the one throwing utility. You're the one who can kind of dictate the pace. Like, okay, I'm going to smoke CT now, and then I'm going to flash, and then we're going to go. Okay. You know, set a very simple, easy structure to understand. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't micromanage, and don't get upset and super angry when people don't follow it, because they're humans. Like, not everybody's going to want to listen to you. It's okay. These people don't know you. So it kind of takes a lot of trust for people to just do exactly what you're telling them to. So have patience. A game sense aspect that you have to think about in Counter-Strike is that as the round progresses and as there are fewer players alive in a round, information becomes significantly more important. Think about an extreme example. A 1v1 and bomb is planted, right? If I know where the CT is, if I plant right here and I hear a footstep right here, that information is everything. That is so important. But let's say, for example, early round, right? It's 5v5 and then one CT nades towards bottom banana. That information information is fine. You know, we know there's one banana, but it's not huge, right? So the conclusion from that is that as the round progresses, think about limiting your information. This means on T side, typically towards the end of rounds, you don't really want to be throwing full execs unless it's like really favorable for you to do so. For the most part, you want to be contacting spaces, trying to find a CT, limiting the information that you're giving the CTs while taking space. And then the moment you do take contact with the CT, then you kind of have to speed up, right? Then you throw utility, then you go, because now the CTs are going to rotate because they know where you guys are. Think about information that way. Later in rounds, information becomes way more important. On CT side, you play a position, right? At the beginning of the game, you say, I'll play window, and then you play window for the rest of the game. You can do the same thing on T side. Now, typically nobody like calls it in spawn, but often it kind of just naturally goes into that where like you go A every single round and you lurk A. And the benefit of this is that you get a read on what the CTs like to do on A. If you're able to lurk palace or lurk ramp every single round, you can figure out what the CT player, what the A player is doing. Are they playing ticket every round? Are they playing close ramp every round, right? And then you can exploit them through that information. You can pick up on their habits and catch timings and just kill them for free because you know what they're doing. But if you're switching your spot, you're going somewhere different, somewhere new every single round, you're going in with no information, right? You don't know how they like to play that. You don't know what they're doing, and it's going to be harder for you to get kills and to have impact. So pick a spot and try to commit to it if you can, right? On Mirage, it's typically 3 towards mid, 1 A lurk, and then 1 towards apps. Then try to go to one of those places and do that every single round, and you're going to have a lot more success than bouncing around everywhere randomly. If you want to practice your op flicks, there's this workshop map called Op Training that allows you to just work on flicks like this. Super simple, and it's just a good way to make sure that you're hitting the easy flicks that you should be hitting. This is a great map on the workshop called Aim Rush that's perfect for tracking. I really like going in here and just trying to track ahead. Hold your crosshair on their head for like 2-3 seconds and then click, right? Force yourself to actually practice this tracking motion. Tracking is super underrated in Counter-Strike, in my opinion. It's actually just really important. So this is a great way to practice that. My favorite map for warming up is CS Stats, and a big reason for that is the shuffle mode. Behind you on this wall, you just shoot shuffle, and then this spawns bots all over, and they'll move, and they're at a varying ranges, and there's walls and such. In between, you know, I'll jump in here in between FACEIT games and just click on bots to stay warm. And it's a great balance between like, they're not static, they're not just standing still, but also it's not chaotic and you're not constantly flicking like you are in DM. DM can be a little exhausting if you like play a game, jump into DM, play a game, jump into DM, right? This is a bit more chill and a bit nicer. So I recommend, you know, jumping in here in between your games or just before your games and practicing your sprays, getting warmed up. This is kind of a weird tip. I've never heard somebody talk about this before, but you don't have to play with people. You don't have to play with your friends. I've had experiences where like I play with somebody and at the beginning it's cool, it's fun, and then they get a bit comfortable and then they get like a bit mean and a bit toxic and they start kind of throwing games because they give up and they're toxic and they're somebody that like I don't really want to play with anymore. And I think people get kind of stuck like feeling like they have to continue playing with them and they just have to deal with it. You don't have to deal with it, you know? Just be honest and tell them like it's not fun for me anymore to play matches with you. You know, maybe this isn't relating to you at all, but I think a lot of people have had these experiences where it's like, you know, we just like don't work as a duo anymore and I'm just not having fun. So be honest and just tell them like break up with them. It's not working out, you know? I got this from a video from Oblivity, and that's just to do a little wrist stretch like this before you start playing. Making sure your wrist is loose and comfortable is incredibly important before you game. So do this. I do it for like 30 seconds before I warm up, and then I get on and I warm up. It's actually helped me a lot and has made me feel just better and looser, so give it a try. Recognize when you're overcompensating with your wrist or with your arm. In your aim, you have your wrist aim, which has about this range of motion, right? And then you have your arm aim, which can go anywhere. For me, I often get caught just only using arm, and when you only use your arm, your micro adjustments just aren't as accurate. So this is not something to think about like when you're in a game, unless you're just like really obviously overcompensating with your arm. It's something to think about when you're warming up or when you're in DM. So I like to isolate them first, where when I first get into a workshop map to warm up, I go only wrist aim first, right? Recognize like this is how it feels, right? This is my wrist aim. This is the range. and then I combine them, and I flick, and I use my arm, and then I use my wrist to micro adjust. But just be conscious about it, because it's easy to overlook that and then start whiffing because you're not using both of those at the same time. Whenever you're throwing utility for your team, you have to be vocal. You can't throw utility and just be silent about it. You need to let your team know that that utility is coming. So a good example of this is when you're flashing for your teammates to take long. I say, okay, I'm flashing once, I'm flashing twice, bang, bang. The reason why you say bang when a flashbang goes off is because the T's are also throwing a shit ton of flashbangs, and it gets really confusing because all the flashes sound the same. So you say bang to indicate that's our flash that just popped, right? So when my teammates hear bang, then they know that's when they should swing. This tip is really basic, but it has to be said. Call numbers. Whenever you're communicating, give information in terms of numbers. If I hear 1 footstep B, I'm not going to say it's B, or I'm not going to say B, right? I'm going to say 1B or 1 tunnels. And then if I hear multiple, but I don't know if it's the exact number, right? For example, if I'm here close short and I hear lots of feet up short, I'm going to say lots short or multiple short or feet short, something that indicates that it's a lot of people, but I don't know that it's all of them. I can't say all short just based on, you know, I hear a lot of feet. I don't actually know. So be precise in the information you give, and when you can't be precise, make sure your teammates know that you aren't being precise. This tip is something that's kind of tricky to like really embrace and accept, but I think it's actually really important. And that's when you die to something stupid or something you think was silly or accidental or dumb. Replace that anger and frustration that you feel. Oh, they're so dumb. That was so stupid. I hate this game. Replace that with the feeling of being impressed. Be impressed that it worked, right? Don't hate it. Be impressed that it worked, because if you feel impressed and you say, oh wow, that was kind of crazy that worked, number one, you're going to learn from it. Anger and that frustration is just going to lock your brain down and not allow yourself to like learn from the experience. And number two, you're going to stay in the game more. You're not going to tap out because something stupid worked and now you're angry and now you're gonna go do something stupid too, right? You realize that was stupid, but I'm kind of impressed that it worked. So that was pretty funny. That was kind of cool. I learned from it. I move on. And if it was something just objectively stupid, like objectively just a terrible decision for your opponent to make, then think about, why did it work? Why did something that was so stupid, so objectively wrong for them to do, why was I susceptible to losing to that? The best way to learn utility in CS2 is by actively using it in games. It's not by going into a practice map and throwing it over and over and over again. That repetition doesn't really do anything, to be honest. It doesn't really, like, at least for me, it doesn't make stuff stick in my memory. What does is by actually using it in game. So like, for example, I saw a pro throw this cross smoke, and then in my next dust game, I made a intentional effort of throwing that exact same cross smoke in that game. And now this smoke is in my mind forever. I don't think I'm ever going to forget this smoke. So use lineups, use new information in actual games, and it's going to stick much better. A really easy, basic habit that you can build that's going to make you so much better at Counter-Strike is staring at the minimap for the first like 5 to 10 seconds of every single round. Whenever you leave spawn, and I know I don't have it up right now, but whenever you leave spawn, stare at that minimap and see where your teammates are going, because that's going to inform you how the round's going to be played, how you should play early in the round, right? If I run from CT and I go heaven and I'm looking at the minimap and I see, oh, 2 people ran outside and 2 people went ramp, that's a bit spooky. I'm alone on A. I'm probably not going to immediately drop into sight or take an aggressive position or look for a duel. I should kind of play A for retake. I shouldn't be super aggressive on A. So I could throw a door molly and then just chill heaven, not throw my life away and just give up A site. You know, I could run out, die, and be angry at my team, but you want to use all the information you can to try to win the round, right? So stare at the minimap, both CT side and T side, first 5-10 seconds of the round. My last tip for you in this general tips section, before we dive into the map specific tips, is that I didn't get level 10 by being the perfect player. Nobody got level 10 by being the perfect player. No pro got to be pro by being the perfect player. You're going to make so many mistakes. And I include this advice in pretty much every tip video I make because I think it's the most important tip I could ever give somebody. You're going to fuck up so many times. Hundreds, thousands, millions of times you're going to fuck up. And that is okay. That's part of the game. Have compassion for yourself. Don't beat up on yourself because you make mistakes. Learn from them and improve. you're going to fuck up over and over and over and over again, and that is okay. Let's start with Dust 2. If you have a good spawn for dropping Suicide, drop Suicide and molly bottom mid just like that. That way, if the CTs want to do something aggressive out mid, this molly is going to land before they get through mid doors, and they're just not going to do it. So it's an easy way to prevent CT aggression. You can follow that up, right? Let the molly go away so then the smoke doesn't land on it. But by aiming just below these two little things, these two nails, right here, left click, this is a mid door smoke. Good Suicide spawn, it's easy impact to just drop a molly bottom mid and then smoke doors for your team. If you're clearing lower and you're worried about a rifler here close short holding you, or an opper maybe boosted deep, you can throw a flash like this just high above these signs, and this flash is going to pop right here above the entrance. So any rifler here close, boom, they're going to get full blinded by this, and any opper who's here boosted, they're going to get full blinded by that as well. Once you're up here on short and you want to take more space, but you're worried about maybe an opper sitting here or just a tricky short setup, you can come into this corner, aim at the bottom of this windowsill right here, and then run jump throw once you reach the tarp. And this is going to land up here on the box and molly out anybody sitting on this tight corner that CTs really like to play. One incredibly powerful smoke that you should know on T-side Dust 2 is this one. Just throwing it into this corner. What this smoke does is that it extinguishes any CT mollies thrown into long doors, but it still provides a massive gap for you here to fight. So what I like to do is I like to throw the smoke. If I have a good spawn, I'll throw the smoke and I'll come up and I'll just take the op pick, right? Bang, I get a kill, I get out safely, and I didn't take a lick of damage from that molly. On Dust, you should know how to jump onto this box from this side of it. You can jump onto around this area where the void is, and then also the left side of this box. And the tricky part about this jump, and it's not actually tricky, it's just you have to crouch and then jump. You can't jump and then crouch, or else you're gonna miss it. So crouch and then jump, and then boom, you're here on Xbox. If you want to self flash for yourself long, all you have to do is get just in this corner, just close to this area, aim for the bottom right of this sign with the telephone, and then just swing off that. It's gonna pop behind you, and this is a really nice self flash for peeking long. A useful anti-rush util set you can use towards B is you molly tons or you smoke it, and then you run up with the flash and you left and right click, just aiming around where this light is, bang, and you just swing with this. And this flash is going to pop right in front of tunnels, and so if they're rushing, boom, they're all going to be blinded, and you're just going to get, you're going to ace, hopefully. On Mirage, if you want to rush A, you can just bank a smoke like this, and then bank a flash like that, and pop out ramp with that util. If anybody's going towards close ramp, they're going to get blinded by this flash, and the smoke is going to take out their molly super fast, and you're not going to take any damage from it. You movement heads out there will know this, but for those who don't, you can jump on the bottom of the bench and jump into window like that. You don't need to be on the top side of the bench in order to jump into window. In the mid round, your bread and butter smoke is going to be a top con smoke. This smoke is so freaking strong because it both allows you to lurk out either side of it, right? And it provides you cover if you do end up wanting to go up short. If you smoke bottom con in the mid round, that's really tricky because now pushing con is super scary and you're kind of forced into going short. So start throwing top con smokes. You can just aim at that electric box from the right side and shift walk throw. From the left side, you can aim to the left of this light and shift walk throw that as well. If CTs have been super aggressive mid, you can bank a molly just towards the right side of this plant, and this molly is going to land in mid and completely block off their push. They get stuck behind this, and then bang, you guys flash out, right? You just flash behind the box, or you flash valley, or you just send a flash behind you, whatever, and you just swing with that and kill the CTs who are stuck behind that molly. You may have seen the new Zywoo window nade, where you come into this corner, you look at this line, and you aim at the little white dot to the right of it, and you just left click throw that nade. That bounces there, it doesn't do any damage to you and allows you to fight mid. The problem with that nade is that it makes a lot of bounces. So it's better in the early round when the T's are top mid than it is in the mid round when the T's could be valley. So instead of throwing that one, you could throw the old lineup, right? Everybody knows this one. You crouch here, you aim at the corner of this splotch, and you right click jump throw. This doesn't make, bouncing sounds, but it will make a landing sound, right? Because you jump. So instead of just right click jump throw and not press anything, crouch, right click jump throw, and then tap W. And that way you land on this silently. It doesn't give a sound cue that, hey, I'm throwing this HE grenade, and you're able to get those kills on the T's who are chilling valley. Throwing this defensive smoke cat is a really good smoke, but it's not great to throw by default at the start of every single round. And the reason for that is that it limits information for a window player, right? They can't fight anybody who's behind the smoke because they don't know they're there. So wait on throwing the smoke until the T's take some space, and then you want to prevent them from taking short, or you want to isolate fights teammates through con in the mid round like this. This is a cheeky off angle to hold Palace from right here. It's going to catch anybody who pushes Palace and is looking for a player like this, but you can avoid it if you push Palace and you just hug this wall. You hug that wall and then they won't be able to see you because you just avoid that angle entirely. Whenever you jump out window, if you land on the bit right here and then jump after landing on that, your head bangs into that ceiling right there and you're launched downwards faster than if you just run out like this. So I'm gonna jump, land, jump again, and then boom, bonk my head, and it's going to launch me downwards, so I'm less likely to get spotted by Ts who are swinging out mid. On Inferno T side, you can throw a really cheeky apps lurk smoke by getting into this corner with the radiator, aiming for this corner of the windowsill and just left clicking. This is going to bounce and land on top of truck, and it's going to give you a lot of space to get out of apps and to isolate this fight with the pit player. You see from sight, the CTs won't be able to see you at all, and you can just walk out and lurk out and use it or don't use it is great. Getting onto this spot right here on T-side Inferno can actually be quite strong. You can either jump there or have somebody boost you. From here, you don't get blinded by coffin flashes, which pop around here. This thing blocks your view. You can also nade CT by aiming at the top of this one right here and a left click jump throwing. This is gonna boom, just a nuke CT and do a ton of damage to anybody chilling here holding this angle. A good flash to kind of default on your T-side Inferno is just flashing up mid like this. The reason for this is that it's really good against CT aggression. If I'm a CT opper and I'm coming to peek mid and then I go to ramp, bang, I'm just blinded. Or if I'm going to hold this Mexi angle right here, boom, I get blinded by that too. It's hard to avoid. It's just a really decent flash to prevent aggression. On Inferno, there's a lot of straight up just on angles like this one, for example, right? This is just an angle versus an angle. Whoever wins the fight wins. But what you should be focusing on is just using your flashes to get CTs off of those angles, right? Instead of just straight up taking this fight, there could be an opper sitting there. There could be a rifler timing out peaks and I just get the wrong timing. I'm just gonna left click a flash there, bang, and then just swing off that. That way, if it is an opper, they're stuck here, they're gonna get blinded by this flash or they just have to run away. And if a rifler's here, they have to turn it and then boom, I'm able to get space towards the right side here and I can look for a fight coffin and get into this cubby, look dark, right? Take some space. That way it makes the situation so much more complicated for the CT player because I could be left side, I could be right side, spooky. It's a similar thing with mid, right? Just banking flashes and then swinging off fleas. It's like, you don't overcomplicate this. You don't need to try to find like a perfect pop flash that's right on the angle. Just bank flashes, get the CTs off of angles and take that space. On CT side, a really great setup you can run is having one player boosted on porch and then one player playing underneath them. Be mindful of if you're this boosted player, you should not be throwing any utility towards brackets. A mid player should be able to see the trajectory of that smoke, right? It's going downwards. They should be able to tell from that you're boosted. And if they don't, then an apps player who's like around here will hear that and it's super obvious where that smoke came from, right? They're going to call that you're boosted. And once these Ts know that you're boosted, then you're in a really bad spot. You don't want to be boosted when the Ts know that you're boosted. You want this to be a surprise. So don't throw any utility from here. Drop your utility to the player who's playing under you and have them throw it. If you want to flash for a teammate to peek top mid, just get against this wall and aim for the corner of this building and left click throw. This flash is a perfect little pop flash to blind any Ts who are running up mid. Bang, your teammate swings, easy kills. Whenever you're rotating towards B from CT and the CT's smoked, pre-aim top orange. There's really no other place that you have to pre-aim unless Ts can be like really close, right? But I'm assuming that they're not. Pre-aim above the smoke towards top orange. So many people die to just somebody standing here. And if you're ready for this, it's actually a really easy fight to win. If you want to go for a pick towards car, but the Ts have been mauling car every single round, you can left click a smoke just towards this window right here. This is going to bounce way further, but when there's a T-molly down, right? T-molly, it's huge. This smoke is going to land out in this area, and then it's going to allow you to peek car and get that pick for free. On Nuke, if you can convince the CTs that somebody could be down B every single round, it's going to win you so many games. The reason for that is because CTs have a huge advantage on Nuke if they know that nobody's down B. CT side on Nuke, very strong. But if door is smoked like this, and a T could be down vent, right? The CTs don't know. Then they have to change their setup and spread out more. And their setup gets worse because they don't have as much manpower on A or on ramp or outside. They have to spread out. Somebody has to go down B. Somebody has to worry about it, right? You're going to catch more timings. You're going to walk into fewer people. So the conclusion to that should be throw more lurk smokes towards door. I missed that one. It needs to be further to the right. Throw more lurk smokes either towards door, right, out here, or throw cross smokes outside. Those are really the two easiest ways to get CTs to, you know, worry and be concerned about somebody being down B. This is kind of a hard thing to apply just like solo queuing, but it's something you should like know and be considering when you're playing Nuke. One super easy smoke that you can throw that just has a lot of impact on Nuke is the top mini smoke. So you're just going to get into this corner outside spawn, and then you're going to aim at the corner of this building, just inwards a little bit, not right on the tip, inwards a little bit, left click jump throw. The smoke is going to land on top of mini and do that sick waterfall thing that CS2 TikTok absolutely loves. But in this case, it's actually really useful, right? It smokes off mini, a mini player doesn't get info outside, and when you're top midi, it also provides you some cover, right? You don't have to worry about blue. You can look towards secret, fight around it like that. It also covers this cross. This is very important too, so then you don't get spotted by credit when you're crossing towards red. It's a great smoke. One problem people have when they lurk towards inner is that they get caught off by pushes from different areas. If I'm just like standing around here, I'm super susceptible to a push from everywhere. So instead of just like lingering around without a purpose, commit into ramp, or commit into hut, or commit into door, right? You get the point. That way, if I commit into door, then if somebody pushes ramp, they would have to go all the way around here to try to find me and kill me. And if I commit into hut right here, it's the same thing, right? I'm not super visible from everywhere. So pick a spot and get kind of tucked into it, and that way you could hold the push for that area without being susceptible to every other spot. On T-side Nuke, please nade door. Nading door at the beginning of every single round is so important because door is a really good choke point for Ts. It's a great place to lurk out in the mid round and to try to find a pick. It also gives you access to vent. It allows you to smoke mini. There's so many reasons why having door open is good. You don't want door to be blocked by a door. Nade it early. When you get down B via ramp, right? Let's say we took ramp, we killed the ramp player, now we're going down B. Your goal should be to take double control. Single is too far. There's not really a good chance you're going to be able to take single control. So what you can do is come towards the left side of ramp, smoke single, get over here towards double, and then you can molly deep double from control, or even from outside control from out here if you have the glass already broken. And then that way, boom, the molly drops. Your teammate can plant safe open. They don't have to worry about double. They don't have to worry about single. And then after the molly goes, you can sit here. You can look for the fight, right? Play a cheeky off angle and just be ready for CTs to swing you. One really cheeky position you can play on CT is on top of this orange box. You just need to run on this ledge right here and then jump onto it, jump crouch from there. This allows you to spot this cross, lets you see here. You can also see over red. If any T is crossing red, you'll be able to see it. If the Ts don't throw smokes, you just get full info on outside. It's so strong. And then even if you have to drop, you can hold this angle. It's so, small, but if you have an op, it's actually a pretty decent angle to hold because a lot of Ts are going to jiggle this or look for a fight on this angle, and that could just be a free kill for you. Speaking of angles, if you're expecting a lurk towards ramp, then playing on top of this railing towards the left side of this gray box is a really strong off angle. If I play right here and a T swings this, even if they clear this angle, their crosshair placement is going to be right here, not up here. It's also decent if you do expect the Ts to just run out, because you could just get one and then drop and go down. So it kind of serves both purposes. Great angle. As an outside player on Nuke, this glaive smoke, just left clicking a smoke towards this gray box, is your bread and butter. It allows you to do so many aggressive things. You can push towards the right side. You can go towards back red. You can cross towards secret with it. You can push through it. One play I love to do on anti-ecos is throw that, throw a flash like this, and then just push through it and just go kill the Ts who are just sitting here blind. It's amazing. Use the smoke, get aggressive with it, and then don't get aggressive with it, right? Condition the Ts into expecting aggression with that smoke. It's going to slow their outside takes down so much. If you're wanting to duel mid on Anubis T side and fight mid, fighting from the right side here is significantly better from this left side, because if I'm on this left side and I swing house, now I'm exposed to house and to the doors angle, and these two are very different and forces me to flick. But if I'm on this right side, these angles are somewhat combined behind. And if any CT swings either, my crosshair is very close to both of them. You're also going to catch oppers who sit like on this angle right here. And because they're so close to the angle, if you swing wide enough, you'll be able to see them and kill them without them even being able to see you. One play that you'll see Stewie make when he plays Anubis is that he'll come up to the right side, hug this wall, and then swing super close like this. This is just not an expected fight for a CT for a T to swing mega close to them right there. E-box, lurk, smoke, so important. Get into this corner with the telephones, aim at this brick right here that sticks out from the building, and the left click jump throw. This should be thrown like almost every round on Anubis T side in pugs. It's so strong because it prevents the CTs from getting info canals, and you can walk through on either side of it and catch a timing on a CT who can't hold both at the same time. This is too difficult. Taking A main on Anubis is super strong. All you have to do is just get to this area, aim where this pillar like meets the top right here, and then just shift walk throw a smoke. After that, you're gonna aim, there's like this little dot on the column right here. You don't have to be super specific with it, but just shift walk throw that molly, and then bang, you molly out this left side, you smoke A main, and now you just have full A main control. You can also follow it up with just like a left and right click flash on the right side like that, or just a right click flash like this to clear out anybody who's playing table right here. Boom, you have A main. That's huge. If you want to take mid in the mid round or even at the beginning, you can come into this corner with the sign, left and right click jump throw at the top of these, you know, kind of whatever that is, the wood. Left and right click jump throw that smoke, that's your house smoke, and then get towards the right side of this wood bench, aim towards the bottom left of the shadow, and then boom, you have house smoked, and this molly is gonna molly doors off. There is a cubby right here that CTs can still play in. So what you can do is you can either nade it or get up and flash to your left, right, hug the right wall, bang, and then you're swinging this and taking this fight. If you want to pop out B, just throw a left side smoke super loosey-goosey. You just have to run through it on that just right there, and then boom, left side is smoked. You don't have to worry about temple, you don't have to worry about street, and then bang, we're popping out and we're taking B. You don't have to throw a lineup for it. You can just throw it through a CT smoke, go flash bang, and it's so fast, it's scary, it's easy. Do it. If you're too cool to learn any util for mid, at least know this molly from right side. You're just gonna run up, aim above, or just kind of into the bush, and just left click throw your molly. That's gonna molly house. You don't have to expose yourself to it, and it forces CTs to get out of house and lets you take some mid space. A beloved flash here on mid for mid players is just aiming at this wood bit right here and shift walk left click, bang, and then swinging with this. It's a really nice pop flash that's super simple for mid players to use to get kills. You typically shouldn't be smoking B main by default or early in the round, but whenever you do end up smoking B main, try to get it out quite a bit, like out here. That way, it's a really lurky smoke. This makes it super spooky for the T's because you could jump up behind it and fight there. You could just walk through it, right? If I'm a T and I'm holding this, oh shit, now a CT could be left side. They could peek me above here, right? It has quite a lot more impact when you get that smoke deep rather than just right tucked in B main. Whenever you're throwing util into A main and you want to like smoke this area off, don't throw it against this pillar. A lot of people miss this util and exactly that happens. Just throw it to the left. Throw it right here against this wall. And that's going to perfectly land in the entrance of A main. I need to show you stairs nades because they're so strong. You just get against here. You aim towards the bottom left of this. I see it as like a triangle, right? Bottom left of it. Run and left click jump throw. If I'm on this side, I can aim just at the bottom of this splotch, run, left click jump throw. And then both of these, boom, are gonna land on stairs. So if you and a duo, learn both of those, you guys can double nade stairs, and sometimes on gun rounds, you're just gonna get a kill for it and start the round 5v4. If you're playing elbow on Ancient on T side, and the CTs are smoking you off or they're mollying elbow, they're preventing you from getting information mid, then you should be mollying jump up for your team by aiming at the corner of this building and just left click throwing. This molly is going to land on the shelf and prevent CTs from jumping up and fighting. The reason why you want to throw that one instead of one just down here by the boxes is because CTs can throw a smoke into this corner and that's going to extinguish the molly and they can just jump up and fight anyways, right? Unfazed. So throw that line up, get the molly on top of shelf. Whenever you want to flash donut on T side, all you have to do is just aim at the left side of these rocks right here. And depending on how far you are, right? If you're up here, you should run throw this. But if you're close, you can just left click throw it. And this flash is going to bounce and then pop right here on this corner. So any opper who's sitting on this angle, right, this is a really strong on angle for oppers, is going to get full blinded by this flash. A similar thing is that if you're up shelf and you're worried about an opper or a rifler holding you right here, you can just bank flashes against this wall, and these are super annoying for them to deal with because boom, they're gonna bounce way out here. They have to tuck, turn, and then bang, you're swinging. They don't know where exactly you're gonna be when they repeak. It can be a great way to get people off the angle. One incredibly impactful molly that you can learn on Ancient is the Brolin molly. All you're gonna do is get up against the door, aim for the left side of this rock, and then hold W and left click jump throw. This is gonna land right here and prevent any CTs from aggressing into cave. If you have to pause and line this up and do it slowly, you're gonna miss the timing. CTs are gonna get ahead of it. So instead of doing that, you need to practice running up, slamming against the wall, and doing it all in one fluid motion. That way you don't lose your timing up shelf, the molly lands plenty early before the CT gets there, and you're able to get here into cave and take this control. A smoke I've been seeing pros throw a ton is this fast CT smoke for A. They're gonna get right here on this line and then aim at this dark triangle right here, just in the middle of it, and left click throw. Now this smoke initially looks kind of spooky and bad, but I actually have grown to really like it. It plumes right here and prevents any CT from playing default. If a CT was just playing default, they can't do anything. They could swing here and that's kind of it. Another advantage to this one over a typical CT smoke that lands right here is that CTs are able to swing this and then use the cover of default to fight. They just push the smoke and then use default. With that new one, they can't do that anymore. Use it in your games. I've been using it and I've actually been really liking it. If you don't know the instant elbow smokes on Ancient, one thing you could do is throw this smoke. You just path to the left side of red right here, and then throw the smoke at the corner of that building. So you come up, you can throw your molly here, bang, then go to the left, throw your smoke, then you're running down mid, and then you're going to throw a flash right there, boom, and then you can swing down. Now the smoke pops or plumes just like a little bit after you peek it, but that's the purpose of the flash, right? Get an op or get somebody off the angle, boom, you're swinging, and then the smoke pops and you're all good. One nade everybody should know on CT side Ancient is this nade for shelf. You're going to run up, you're going to aim around that corner, and it's going to land right here, boom, and do 50 damage to anybody who's going up shelf. So get up here, run along the right side on this side, and you're going to aim just slightly above and slightly to the left of this corner. I recommend you just practice the nade and get it comfortable. It took me a little while to get it really consistent. So right around there, throw it, boom, it just bounces off of this bit of rock right here, and it's so good, dude. It does so much damage. If you want to take a main and really fight it, one util set you can use is a molly towards the right side by just aiming up in this area and bouncing off of that, and then a nade towards the left like that, and then boom, you're swinging off of this. This HE does a ton of damage, and you're getting kills if they're all in A main. And then if you want full control, instead of the HE, you can just throw the molly and then throw a smoke like that, right? And then wait for the smoke to land, and then clear it. Okay, we're all good. And now you have the entirety of A main to yourself. When you're getting out of temple, you know, on a retake or something, you can crouch and then uncrouch and drop silently and not expose yourself to donut and then swing donut. Or alternatively, if you do want to be loud, you can still drop, strafe, and then swing off that, right? So I'm going to swing, drop, strafe, and then swing. That way I'm not exposing myself to donut as I'm in the air. I don't want to be inaccurate if somebody's here trying to fight me. One great flash for mid, if you feel like the T's are going to swing it and fight you, is flashing against the left side of this wall. This flash is going to pop way out here, so any T's who are swinging here are going to get full blinded by that. So you're going to come out, you throw your util, then you flash here, then you turn, you go path towards here, this side, and then you swing off that flash. One incredibly powerful util set you can throw every round on T-side train is the anti-pop dog push util. You're going to get against this wall here in T-con, and what you're going to try to line up with is just have this wall split these boxes in half. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to make sure this wall is in the middle of these boxes. After you do that, you're going to aim for this gray splotch right here, just a little bit up and to the left, and just a left click throw. I accidentally middle clicked that. You're just going to left click throw, and it's going to go through this gap. And boom, if anybody's trying to go fast towards pop or just cross here and take this fight, you're going to absolutely nuke them. If you're lurking towards Ivy, you can throw really strong lurk smokes by just getting to the left side and aiming around the middle of this garage door and just a left click run throw. This is going to land deep, boom, and plume out like that and prevent you from getting peaked as you scale up. Obviously, somebody could still be in this cubby, but if a CT's behind this smoke, this puts so much pressure on them because now you can lurk through the left side, you can lurk work through this side. You could just not be there. It's very scary for the CT, right? One flash I've seen Zywoo throw a bajillion times is this flash here, just under this train in order to swing T-Con. If anybody's playing close T-Con, this flash is just going to full blind them, and it's not going to blind you or any teammate who's up in front of it. If you're in Z and you suspect that a T is close in E-box, you can spam this left and right window, just kind of in between them right here. And this is going to wall bang into E-box right here and kill any T who's just chilling here, unsuspecting of bullets coming into the side of their head from that window. Anti-A rush util is very important to know. All you have to do is come around this corner, hug the back of it, don't go towards the front, hug the back, and then aim just as far left as you can right here, and then left click throw your molly. This is going to land within T-Con, and then you can follow that up with an HE by left and right clicking and jump throwing at the wheel. So this HE is going to land, boom, right outside of T-Con and nuke anybody who's just walking out of T-Con. Bang. If you want to take deep T-Con control, you can get into this corner here, aim at this splotch right here on the train, and just left click jump throw. This is going to land right here. Boom, and allow you to take T-Con. If you're on B and you have a teammate who wants to come up here and peek heaven and take this fight, you can throw a really good pop flash for them by coming on top of the back of Thomas right here, aiming at this T. You see this garage door kind of makes a T right here, and then left click jump throw. This flash is going to pop, boom, right here and be a perfect pop flash for your teammate to swing heaven. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like the video and drop a subscribe to me, Wilson CS2. I'd appreciate it. Shout out to my channel members. They are awesome. They support me and help me be a goober on the worldwide interwebs. Thanks for being here. Have a great day and good luck. Have fun in all of your future games. Go follow me on Twitch. See you later.